What's going on, everybody? RedWolfVion here with another video from your boy. So today's a little different. It has been a while since we had any kind of guide videos, so I wanted to kind of bring those back, starting with 2022's tips from the community. We had a video like this a while ago, and I figured, why not do it again? Also, here to assist me doing that is yours truly, Niric.
Hey everybody, glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me, Vion. It's really cool to be a part of this.
It's very cool to have you here, my friend. Thank you. So we're going to jump into some things real quick, and we're going to just go off some of the tips the community shared for either new players, people who are returning to the game, or people who've been playing for a long time who need a different perspective on things. Mind you, again, everyone has their own play style, so take that with a grain of salt. Let's jump into it. All right, everyone. First up on our list, we have, drumroll please, we have Insomni. Insomni mentions, hey, you can counter enemy melee strikes with the triangle button. Sometimes you can counter a swing directed at an ally. That is very true. Also, I don't know for you guys who change your button configurations, but by default, triangle is your dash, which in this game, if you dash at a target or an enemy that is meleeing you, you will go into a counter. During this counter, you have a little period of invulnerability, which deals damage to the enemy that you countered, as well as knock them back, topple them over, which is really good because you can save someone's life. And as they mention here, if you see an ally getting jumped or about to get whooped or smacked and you boost in there and you go into your counter tackle, you can save a life. So I really like that idea. I'm not going to say always do it. Don't always rush into their, like, you know, if it's 1 versus 4 or 1 versus 5 and they're about to die, don't be mindful of the situation. But, you know, hey, it's a team game, guys. You're going to learn that either sooner or later, hopefully sooner. Following up with that, they also mentioned if your team has a support, know where they are at all times. Be their buddy and keep raids off their back so they can soften up the enemy for great team plays. So, another thing I really agree with, because you all know, if you've been watching my video for however long, I love support suits. I love playing support types. I like their play style. Generally, they like to stay mid to long range to support their allies from afar. Now, as a support player, if I see a raid running up on me, and if I can't manage that and I have a buddy to help me, two things are going to happen here. They're going to help me get this raid taken care of, and I'm going to be able to keep assisting my team from afar. Because a lot of times you have support suits that can stun or stagger enemies from far away, which opens up combos and opportunities for your teammates. Just because you're support doesn't mean you always have to go for the kill, more so go for the assist. At least that's how I see it.
All right, the next tip we got is from Getter Maniac. He says, know your roles as different classes. Raids should be up front harassing enemy supports, but don't overextend when things look bad and wait for your openings to get through the enemy front line. Generals should be frontlining and holding the enemy. Keep in mind that you should be on the lookout for raids, hunting for your supports, and take care of them before they can do serious damage. Supports should be holding behind the generals and providing support to the frontline generals. Try to create openings for your teammates to strike by stunning an enemy from distance. Yeah, I mean, that's just a great overall kind of formula for, you know, the battle. The two front lines clash. One thing I always say is really important is the raid. You know, if you're playing the raid, we all know how painful it is to overextend. When they do rush, if you can recognize that, that's really important, because a lot of the front line will kind of crumple and they'll fall in to protect their support as the raid pushes. You know, especially if they're going up the middle, it's real obvious. But if they're going on the sides or they're stealthy, then you won't really know. But if you see the generals turn their back on you when you're on the front line, then that's a huge opportunity for your team to push and, you know, shoot, you know, the other soldiers in the back as they're going to protect this. They're doing what they should, but the reality is your raid's creating a huge advantage in your battlefield advantage situation by getting to the support there. So, you know, you have to kind of learn to recognize those things, and I think it'll help you, you know, you and your team succeed, which, you know, with random groups it's difficult, but if you recognize the situational awareness it'll definitely improve the outcome of your matches for sure. So those are some good points.
Up next, we have Lazy Dracon, and almost going off what Niric was speaking of here, when playing Raid, keep an eye on the support location and their team positioning, and find the best moment to strike the support and have time to escape to avoid heavy damage. So in the same vein, there are certain supports who have abilities to go stealth, there's certain supports who are very fast or can get in and out very quickly. Maybe these sort of raids or not, your job is to take care of the enemy support generally. If they have a support, disable their support by whatever means necessary, as long as it doesn't mean you're feeding the enemy team kills. Generally, you're going to run, as a raid, you're going to run into 2 to 3 generals on the opposing team. So be very mindful with that disadvantage, regardless of how it's going to play out. I think it's very important to also mention, just because you see the support doesn't mean you should always beeline for them. Get tricky, sneak around, bait people out, or wait till your enemy engages with your teammates, and then make the opportunity yours.
All right, Awesome Ninja has the next tip. He says, don't stray far from the group, at least for not too long. Don't commit to fights that you cannot win unless you want to reset your hit points. Positioning is key, and have situational awareness at all times. So yeah, I guess that's again similar. I think one thing I see a lot too is at the very beginning of the match, it's really key that the team doesn't leave their support behind, because when your support's alive, you get to see all the health bars on the battlefield of the enemies, as long as they're close enough. And but a lot of times, if you're playing the support, you know what that's like. You kind of get left in the dust, and then they can't see the hit boy bars, or the raid just gets to jump the support and wipe them out, and then you don't know to aim focus fire at the weakest hit point bar, and you don't know where anybody is anymore. So keeping your support alive at the very beginning is really important. So I guess staying close to the group and not letting people fall behind, trying to stay together is absolutely key for sure. And the situational awareness about positioning and stuff, I think, is another good point, because you'll realize, it's annoying when you get friendly fired from somebody that's behind you that's trying to back you up or help you finish off a kill. So if you have the opportunity and you can attack someone and downswing them and trip them and create that opening, try and open a shooting lane for your support. So, don't just stay, head on with your back to your allies so they can't shoot with you. So try and, boost to the side for your follow-ups. As long as you're not turning your back to the enemy, try and open up a lane for your allies to fire on that person that's been tripped as well, so you can take full advantage of it. But he also has another tip. He says, remember to use vertical movement a lot in space. That's simple and clean, absolutely. I think that's a key thing. And it kind of depends on how you set up your controls. I'm kind of maybe an oddity. I switched my X jump and my boost with L1, so that way I can boost and aim while using Vulcans. So it kind of messes with your space controls a little bit, but when you get stunned in space, if you're boosting straight up or straight down, you'll actually glide while you're in your stun animation. So it's a really key thing too. So using vertical movement, could save it increases your survivability substantially. Just getting stunned and continuing to move can eliminate somebody's ability to unleash a melee combo on you entirely. So, using that stuff, maybe boosting and firing on somebody, and then if they're firing back at you, you're just pop shooting, you can go up and down instead of left and right, and you'll continue to glide if you happen to get caught in a stun shot from behind cover. So yeah, definitely good advice there.
Garuga shares, try thinking out of the box when playing GBO2. There's usually a pattern to most GBO2 players, from going a certain direction during the start of a map, or their over-reliance on the map scanner. Use these patterns to your advantage, as you haven't formed these bad habits yet like older players. For example, using an all-black paint job as a raid, or even support in the shadows, and still due to players' focus on the more vibrant allies, as they're easier to spot and they appear on said map. So, this is actually very interesting, and I will admit I have not seen this occur too much, but I have seen it, and you may have seen some weapons rack videos of mine where I do have a impact sight camo, which I really enjoy for that map, as well as the jungle. I do like, part of me wants to get in the character, the part of me wants to just, go hard or go home. So I definitely agree with this. Try to do something out of the norm. If you feel comfortable swapping that paint job, that really cool paint job, for one that's going to help you blend in, especially if you're down crouching or laying prone, I think every bit of it helps. So I also want to point out, excellent thing, Garuga. For example, some people in certain maps always take a certain direction. If you're playing with a friend or two, you can kind of anticipate what the team is doing and kind of set up a trap for them to spring once they do things. There's the Arctic base map, for example. People love to rotate right on the bottom every time. If you have people on your team, they're like, okay, I'm going to count on them rotating right. You're going to actually set up, instead of going all the way right, you're just going to ready a shot. So when they come around, you're going to pop 2 to 3 of them. And although you necessarily won't kill anyone, you're going to do more damage to them that they're going to do to you because they walked into a trap. So yes, keep that in mind. Also, you can take that advantage, as we spoke about earlier. If you're a raid, you can assume the support isn't going to get out as fast as the general or the other raids. So you already have a strong idea where the support is going to be. So just keep all this stuff in mind. And I said this before, this is geared towards all different players, but good thing pointing this out, there's older players who have a lot of habits that it's really hard for them to kick. Exploit that. Exploit it. That's all you have to do, right? So have fun with that while you're exploiting it. Wow, that was really, really good. You guys know I like the flashy colors too, so props on that one. Very nice.
Wolf Dragon here. He's got 4 tips for us, so I'll cover each one here individually. But so his first tip, he says, whenever an enemy plants a bomb in your base, always have a buddy with you to defuse the bomb. Absolutely true. I guess similar in vein of what Vion was explaining is it's a real obvious situation where if they've planted the bomb and you're not there right when it happens, they have the element of surprise. They can hide anywhere around your base. You won't be able to see them. Some suits have the ability to see soldiers while you're in them, so you could exploit that and maybe take them out before you get out to do the base bomb. But the most important thing is people recognize that you can't do it by yourself. So if you're going to go for the base bomb, you really need to do it with another person, unless you just get really lucky and they're not there camping to wait for you to try and disfuse it, and then they'll just shoot you and kill you instantly. So you just in the end you just end up removing yourself from the front line, and you put your team at a disadvantage where they could otherwise have an advantage. And it just depends on where the points are at. But he's absolutely right. Doing it by yourself is a total game. So the next tip he has is in ace matches, the ace gets the enemies with low health. It will help you and your team claim victory, and don't steal the ace kills. So that's definitely a game. I mean, you can ruin an entire match for your team if you steal one ace kill. It happens by accident to everybody. It happens, so just you got to try your best not to do it and just kind of be aware. But there's things to do in the reverse of it as well. Like if you are really low health, you don't want to be killed by the ace. So in other words, you might consider overextending yourself towards non-ace enemy players to get yourself killed on purpose, so that way when you do die, they don't get triple the points. So there's 2 sides of that, absolutely. So it's just things to be aware of for sure. The next tip he says, if you have suits like the Blue Destiny, Ifrit Kai, and Pale Riders, time the moment right when you use your Hades or Exam. If you run out of time for them, eject and let them destroy or repair them a little bit. So yeah, when you activate your exam mode, it depends on what level of it that you have. It lasts for a certain amount of time, but it gives you a timer, of course. So yeah, when that happens, I mean, it's really valuable. A lot of people don't really realize this. I didn't realize it at first, but it's actually got an invulnerability window when you activate it, so you can kind of use it as a secondary evasion in some sense. So when a melee strike's coming and you've already evaded, you don't have any thrust left for it, you can pop your exam, and then you'll be invulnerable for a tiny window that may just get you out of trouble or cause them to overextend, and then maybe you've got the advantage. But that when that timer runs out, yeah, your legs are broken, you fall down in a heavy stun, there's a big window of opportunity for them to take you out as a result. But it does have some sneak perks, like certain suits get evasion level 2 that have evasion level 1, or certain ones like the Striker Custom has no evasion until you activate the mode, and then you have evasion level 2. So, but you got a limited window, so you got to take the most of it. But that's another good point. But so his next tip is when you're the ace of the match, it's nearly over. Retreat back to base and repair. That's because these might be enemies. There might be enemies sneaking around the base at the time. So have your teammates guard you. Yeah, I guess that's just a good tip in general. You know, no reason to push it or risk it. What's the call sign? Don't get reckless, as they say in the in-game chat. So, you know, when you got the lead, don't be greedy. Back off, but stay with your team. So don't retreat back to the base by yourself, because there may be a stealthing raid over there waiting for you to finish you off. So, yeah, good points.
And then following that, we have Noob Sama. Noob Sama says, play with friends to feel less stress. It's something important other than winning. So that's absolutely correct. We play this game and we enjoy it. Remember, a lot of times you play games to have fun, right? I know it's a competitive game. It is a PvP focused game. So, you know what? If you going on a really bad losing streak, it's totally fine. It happens. Trust us. Invite a friend or two or some clan mates and just quick match or custom match. Make sure you're having fun. Remember why you're playing this game. It can get frustrating and rated, even quick matches, but just remember, try to have fun. Don't be too stressed out about it. And I know that's me saying don't be stressed. But at the end of the day, guys, we want to make this game and this environment very welcoming and open to everyone. So we ask that you help us do just that. We're excited to see what the future holds for GBO2. But well said, Noob Sama. Well said. Alright guys, so hopefully some of these tips will help you or help a friend of yours. If you get someone into the game, you know what I'm saying, check the description below, official website, go download this game, it's free to play. We need more people to play the game because why not? So it is really dope. So Niric and I want to thank you all for submitting these tips from the community. If you're not part of the Discord server, please go ahead and join it. Keep in mind, it's not just a gun and battle operations server. It's a server for many games and many different people. So I ask, if you do join, be very respectful of that. There are rules in place, and if those rules are not followed, you will be taken out of place. But we haven't had any issues. Just saying. Disclaimer. But again, I want to thank you guys for checking out this video. As always, Niric, do you have anything you want to say to the people?
Oh no, yeah, thanks again for letting me be a part of this, and yeah, if there's anything I can do to help anybody that's got questions about the game, I'm definitely no pro expert Gundam new type or anything, but I have been playing for a good while, so since the Western release, haven't really quit playing per se. So, but yeah, feel free to, if you guys are in the Discord, feel free to at me, and if you need any help, have any questions. I made a few little visual guides and things that I can point to as well that may simplify some of the things like custom parts I know a lot of people have questions about. So, but yeah, I'm just glad to be here and glad to be a part of it, and see you guys in the Discord.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it to death. I love it so much. All right, so until next time, everybody, stay out of trouble. And what do I always say, Niric? What do I say? Do you know what I say?
Peace.
Peace.